Hi, this is Kim, and I promised to do a very short tutorial in Evoto this evening about backdrop changer. So what we're going to do is we're going to bring in to the library the image of my client. So I'm going to hit import image, and I'm going to go to the desktop here, and we're going to import it in here with this other image. So this is the image that we're going to be working on. So the very first thing that I want to do is I want to make sure that the color toning of this image is going to be correct for the background. So I am going to come up here to edit, and we're going to go over here, and I'm not going to go over anything, all the rest of these things. We could do eyes, we could do skin, we could do hair, like all the things, but we're not going to go over that. We're just going to talk about how I use this to change the backdrop of this image. So I want to go to AI color adjustments over here, and from my understanding, this is not some of this stuff isn't available on iPad. I am a Windows user, I am not a Mac user, so I don't know, but I have seen a lot of people talk about it not being available for iPad. So that is definitely an Evoto question and not a me question. I'm going to go to AI color adjustments, okay? And you can upload a reference. So I want to upload my background so it has a reference to pull color out of. And here it is. So here's my reference image, okay? I want to grab the average color tone out of this image to use on this image. Okay, it's right here. Now, if you notice, it really changed the color toning. A little bit on the green side, actually, but we're not going to leave it that strong. So down here is the amount, and we're going to click this buddy down. Now, there's also a mask tool here. Use it if you don't want it on everything, okay? If you just want it on, different things, you can do that. You can change where you want it. You can change the background. All of these things are in here, okay? And masking, don't be afraid of it. It's a very powerful tool. So here's the full image, and we are going to take down the tone and the color just a little bit. I want him to match this background. And while it looks ridiculous right now, it looks a little strong, you'll see what I'm doing here in a minute. Okay, so here's our color matching. It's a split screen here for us, and that's our reference point in the AI color adjustments, okay? So we can go back to just working on this guy. Still might be a little strong, but we're going to go over here to background adjustments. Okay, so in here you have background adjustments, backdrop changer, and sky replacement. Sky replacement is also a really cool tool, but not something we're doing today. Backdrop changer. So we're going to go in here, and it's probably going to be clicked here in the recommended area where you can choose different fabrics and different things for headshots. That's not where we're going today. There's actually a tab here called My Backdrops, and I'm going to upload my backdrop that I want to use. So we're going to click here, and we're going to go here, and we're going to add it. And it's going to bring it in. Excuse me. And then we're going to click on it. And it is going to magically change this backdrop that I had it. So it was here, and now it's here. Needs more work, though, as you can see. His pony is floating. But here and here. So now you have all of these things. I preserved the area of subject and related objects because I wanted to bring with him in the extraction his pony, okay? It does really well with couches. I've done with chairs and stools. It preserves this right here, subject and related objects. Fill region, you can change this to original or cropped. You can choose the fill mode of how the backdrop is filling, okay? You can also change the opacity, and you have an edge adjustments here as well. You have size, vertical or horizontal. We'll talk about vertical and horizontal here in a minute. But the first thing to do is your shadows, because he's floating. So let's give him some shadows, okay? And you can also see how the color toning was pulled in from this image, the first thing that we did, and it's making him blend in with the scene. So here's that. Let's do these shadows. Let's do soft. We've got blending modes here, just like Photoshop, if you're familiar with Photoshop. we've got different blending modes for shadows. And then down here, you can have the opacity of your shadows. If you want to blur them, the blur range, the gradient, also another blend mode down here for your blur. So there's a ton of different options for shadows. What Evoto can't do, even though this is a smoke show powerhouse, is it cannot really get you to be able to change the size of your person, kid, family, what have you, which does create some challenges depending on what you bring in and what two things you're trying to marry together. Okay. So I hope that Evoto in the future changes or adds to this powerhouse of elements on the right hand side here, where we can change the size of our subject versus the background. But for now, you have these things to do that. So, you know, you can bring this in and bring it out. Vertical here, and you can move him down a little bit if you want him more in the middle of the room. Horizontal, you can go back and forth here. We can leave him right there. So you can move him around the backdrop, but you do lose some of the backdrop when you do that, because you are forced inside the constraints of your original image size, which is this. Okay, so some things that are important in order to use Evoto's background changer as it is right now. I have an image that was shot with light to the right. I'm using a background with image shot or from the light to the right. Okay, so light this direction, light this direction. I'm also the same perspective, so I'm looking straight at this guy in this backdrop, and on the seamless I'm looking straight at him and shooting straight on. I don't think this would work with an image where you shot down. Okay, so perspective is key. Now, if you are doing a bunch of sports or a bunch of like holiday minis or whatever, and you know all this stuff going in, you just pay attention and you shoot for this, knowing you're going to use a backdrop or what have you. This is a powerhouse. You can sync this to like 12 different images in your camera roll here in Evoto, and you know, do some minor tweaking and some cropping, and away you go. And I am excited to see what other updates Evoto pushes out for this, because I do a ton of composite work in my life, and the fact that it has a seamless cutout and has fabulous retaining of shadows, it is just amazing. Now, there's some other things that you can play in here, but that's the majority of it. As long as you, with the constraints that you have right now with Evoto, are paying attention to your perspective, your light, because there's no, like in Photoshop, if I don't have my light matched up, I can flip the canvas, okay, and match my light. You can't flip the canvas in Evoto, okay? So your backdrop, so like my studio where my paper is, I have 19-foot windows to the right. So I always know my backdrops need to be lit from the right, or it's not going to look correct. And in Photoshop, I can flip that canvas, like I said, and in Evoto you can't. But what I find very powerful about Evoto versus doing one photo at a time in Photoshop is that once you get it right, you sync it across. And I did a gallery of 20 holiday minis the other day for like a model call for my mini sessions that are coming up. And it did all but one great. And I had to tweak that one a little bit, I don't know, 5 or 6 minutes, and I was done. All right, so this is definitely a game changer if you choose to harness its power. The rest of this I'm not going to go over. We are going to crop this because it's driving me nuts. Keep trying to go up there. I'm a Photoshop user. Can you tell? I'm going up there to try to hit the check mark. Okay, so that's where we're going to land with this guy. He's actually a little bit different than the one I actually posted in the group. He's up here instead of back here. But you know what? That is amazing as far as I'm concerned. And I'm super excited for this technology, and it's only going to get better and develop more with time. And I hope this has answered some of the questions that I saw roll in earlier about, you know, well, the iPad stuff, there's nothing, you know, apparently it's not available on iPad. And the other question that I saw was, if you're trying to bring a portrait picture into a horizontal background, it won't work. So same with, you know, it's going to cut. So you're only going to have, like, if you look at the screen, like this much of your picture, of your backdrop, if you try to bring a portrait aspect ratio image in. You need to match your aspect ratio to the background for right now. I hope moving forward, Evoto will make some adjustments to this panel so that it's not as constrictive. But as long as you follow those rules, watch your perspective and watch your light, this can be really powerful to use. I hope you have a great day. Bye-bye.